welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally and today I'm joined by Damon Dormer, who has just been, yesterday, Damon, you were named Managing Director of Golden Mile Resources. Well done. So you've gone from CEO to Managing Director. What's that entail?
Thanks, Wally, and first of all, thanks for having me on. The first move from Managing Director, from CEO to Managing Director, really entails stepping up to the board and being the absolute front for the company in all dealings for Golden Mile. You know, previously as a CEO, I didn't hold a position on the board, but now with that, all dealings come through me as Managing Director.
All right. Well, the announcement seems to have come at a good time, followed up today by another good announcement, some fairly encouraging drilling results, let's say, from your Quicksilver nickel-cobalt project.
Yes, we got the results back from our diamond drilling that we conducted at the end of March, start of April, and we've had some exceptional results, to say the least. In fact, spectacular is probably a better word. For our best hole that we got within the hole, and an absolute highlight for us, we had 49 meters at 1.74% nickel. Now, that includes a package of 28 meters at 2.34% and another 5 meter package at 1.6%. Well, now, while that's all a mouthful, this is the highest grade out of all the drilling that's ever been done at Quicksilver. These are the highest grades that have ever been intercepted, and really points to a high-grade core sitting within this ore body, and I'll come to what that means in a bit. But a couple of other highlights we had with this program as well. We had 61 meters at 0.61%, and that had a 1 meter higher grade core at 1.22%, and another 29 meter intercept at 0.65%, with another 1 meter core at 1.25. And again, on top of that, again, we had another 47 meter wide intercept of 0.74%. What these results mean is an absolute paradigm shift in the way we think about this deposit, because this gives us the option with this higher grade core of at least partially digging up, simply drying and direct shipping the nickel straight from the ground without having to put it through a beneficiation process. So that does several things for us. That allows us to potentially bring revenues forward, because we don't have to construct a plant to be digging up this and selling it. It allows us to accelerate our project timelines, because we can now be generating revenue while in construction. And it changes the economic paradigm significantly around the time and cost of money, because we can effectively, what this opens up Pandora's box on is the potential to use the revenue generated off the high grade to potentially help with funding the construction costs of the project. And that's an absolute game changer for us. We're also seeing, particularly with our highest grade intercept, which was the first one I named, was that we're actually going back and retesting that hole for sulfur, which wasn't part of the high priority assays. The reason we're doing that is because we think that there is potential for a disseminated nickel sitting beneath us. Where this hole was drilled is right on a very high magnetic signature of underneath us, and it's actually the same one when we talk to the rare earths that we're seeing there as well. So we've got this, very big wide intercept of high grade with a big on top of a big magnetic signature that we're going to test the traces for to see if we've got the potential for disseminated nickel sitting under the current resource. And that just has been an absolute, it's an absolute game changer for us, and it's hugely exciting. Further to that, we've got significant mineralization with the rare earth oxides within the envelope of the current resource, as well as scandium. Now, what's going to be really interesting to see with those two, and it's a part of the current test work, is how they concentrate up into the different cons, and see what, how much value we can derive from those. But the work on the structural side of things, what we're seeing with a major structure and fault running through the deposit, and the way the magnetic signatures are reading and the offsets we're seeing in those, combined with the correlation to the rare earth oxides and things we're seeing, is all pointing, and the magnetic signature, I should add, is all pointing to there being something going on significantly underneath this deposit. And what's quite interesting about all that from my side of things, not just having a really good target to add to what is already a big deposit, is we can actually go and drill this thing. We can drill effectively for disseminated nickel. We can drill for the primary REEs, and we can also infill drill and get more detail on this high-grade core through effectively a single drill campaign. And that's something we want to accelerate and get a rig spinning on site as soon as we can.
Well, that's an awful lot that's happening in one place at once, and it's going to be quite fascinating to see what comes out of there. But so, what does all this mean for your other project, your You and Mary project? Does that mean take the eye off that ball for a while, or will we still be looking at that?
No, well, I suppose I should just talk to, Quicksilver is our flagship project. It's our primary project, and our primary pathway through production is still our nickel-cobalt within that. And our project timelines and everything else we've set to move towards studies is all governed by the nickel-cobalt timeline within our works. I might just touch on the REEs before talking urinary, if that's okay, because I think there's a couple of pieces of detail around that to help with understanding. So we've seen evidence, with traces of primary REE minerals encountered in previous drilling. The 3D modelling that's also been undertaken has identified a carbonatite magmatic signature right where that high-grade zone is, and also indicates the rare earth oxides are still open both northeast and southwest of the current known mineralisation. And that tied together with also where we're seeing the high-grade nickel and all that is this consolidation of targets all sitting effectively in a nice, neat package. And we can drill that whole thing out in one go. You and Mary is another fantastic opportunity for Golden Mile. And You and Mary, we've got just under 6 kilometres of highly prospective targets at You and Mary. Now, the You and Mary structure is effectively a parallel structure to You and Me. Now, You and Me's a 3.2 million ounce resource, and You and Mary's got basically no drilling in. It's had a little bit of work done, but the targets that are lighting up there are significant. I think the longest one from memory is 1.1 kilometres long of the 3 targets we've got identified there. And again, we would love to be able to be getting a drill moving up there as well. Obviously, it comes down to making sure we're prioritising the right expenditure in right areas. But certainly, if we can get to the funds that we want to get to in the near future, then we will certainly be wanting to drill both the Quicksilver target and You and Mary within the next few months. In fact, Quicksilver, ideally we want to be drilling next month.
All right. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of news to come from Golden Mile, and we always keep a lookout for what's happening there. And well, we're keen to catch up next week at the Gold Coast Investment Showcase, and so we can have a further talk about this, Damon. Thanks very much for showing up and zooming into the Roadhouse, and we'll see you very soon.
Thanks very much, Wally, and love to chat, and we'll love to catch up next week.